Oh, my old grandma goat. You're looking a little rough, baby. You're looking a little rough. Let's give you guys some. Look at this. Get these flies off you. It's just getting to that point, huh, old girl? Just finally starting to show your age. Dilly is the oldest goat here. And Dilly is a special goat because she was my first rescue goat. I found her in terrible condition, but I've noticed that Dilly is starting to slow down on us a lot. And it reminds me that no matter how much you love them, no life is ever permanent. Go ahead and fly you down with some fly spray. Just keep them off my girl. Just keep them off my girl. There you go. You enjoying your nummies? Yeah, you're such a sweet lady. Bun Bun thinks so too, right, Bun Bun? Oh, what a sweet old lady. This is probably the first year that Miss Dilly has been treated like the rest of our goats are always treated, even our brood does during the summer months. Unless they're milking or nursing, they don't get grain. They are on pasture and they get some forage. This is the first year that she's looking not very flush. And I noticed this year too, that she's always been a little bit more parasite resistant than some of my other animals. Needs a lot less maintenance, which is why I've always loved her. Not just for her wonderful Queen Dilly personality, but she's just been generally a really easy keeper on the farm. Sometimes we take that into consideration a lot too, if it's between does that give us pretty great kids that we're not quite sure who should stay. Sometimes it really does come down to whose mother was thriftier or more parasite resistant, because those are some really great genetics to have in your herd. And this is the first year that I've noticed she needs a little extra. She needs a little extra, and even with a little extra, she's still looking really rough. So for me, that reminds me that the time's coming when there might not be a Queen Dilly on my farm. And it's heartbreaking. It was awful when we lost Babs. And when we lost Bojangles. Those were our very first goats that we ever had here on the farm. And Dilly was a rescue. I actually went to this farm and was looking for 2 registered boar goats and went and got there in the blizzard on a Super Bowl Sunday, which means that Mark was super happy to go on this trip, but he's always been so great and so supportive in my love for goats, and decided, hey, if you want to, we will. And I wanted to, so we did. We got to this farm and the conditions were just really terrible. They were just really, really terrible. A lot of the animals were in pretty awful condition. I can tell you that this was the first and only farm that I've ever called the Humane Society on, because I do understand that everybody has different herd management protocols and that they take care of their animals differently, but the total neglect that I witnessed at this barn and just terrible herd management practices was a little more than I could handle. So I did actually buy Dilly, and I bought Dilly's half-sister, Dally. We had Dilly and Dally. Dally went on because she was a super skittish doe. So was she. From where she came from, she was really skittish. She just, you could tell, had not been handled and had a lot of care in her life. And Dally never really came out of it. So we got Dally nice and healthy and found her a really great home. And I decided I wanted to keep Dilly. And if you can believe it, Dilly at the age of 2, when boar does should be really big, pushing like 100 pounds, if not more, she was the size of my Nigerians at 2 years old. I really thought that she was just stunted and she would never catch up. I figured she's just always going to be a small goat. And lo and behold, what good management and nutrition for goats can correct and do is really miraculous sometimes, because you can tell she's not a little goat anymore. She hasn't been a little goat for a long time. And she's given me lots of really, really great kids. She's always kidded unassisted. She's just been an all-around great goat, and I love her dearly. She's just absolutely the queen here. Absolutely the queen. So Mark and I just got back from the HOA and Homesteaders of America conference, and we got a call this morning on our way back. You know, you go and you pull a lot of confidence and inspiration and fellowship and community, and we were on our way home today, and my mom called and told us that Dilly passed away last night. Doesn't matter how much you expect an animal to pass away, it never gets easier. And Dilly's been a staple in our herd pretty much from the beginning. And she went peacefully in her sleep. So we just got home and we are dealing with that, but she literally looks like she just laid down and went to sleep. And Joe found her this morning, so it's been a rough morning, and now we get to bury her. You know, I really tried to think about it on the way home, how I kind of wanted to go about this, because Dilly has like her own little fan group, and there are just some people that have really related with Dilly, and I know Dilly taught me a lot in the beginning of my goat journey. She taught me a lot. She's probably one of the first two goats, because I rescued her sister with her, that taught me how to triage an animal that didn't have good odds. The first animal I practiced quarantining with. One of the first animals I practiced hoof trimming on and taking care of and birthing and breeding, and she's just been such a staple on our farm. And I'm so upset that she left while we were gone. Now, it's always hard when your kids find an animal, and it's part of this life, I know. And I know Joe was upset, but it's even like for me getting the phone call, I just wish she would have waited until I was here. And she's our herd queen. Squeaky, don't. No squeaks. I actually had an Instagram post today, which is, we weren't home yet. And when I heard that Dilly had passed away, I was upset that I wasn't able to be here. I wish she would have waited for us. I wish that I got to put them up last night while we were in Virginia, because she always gets her little head scratched. She always gets love. And I'm sure she got that yesterday, but I just wish I had one more time just to have her head pressed up against me and to love on her. She had a lot of that her entire life, so I can't feel bad that as if she were mistreated or she died a tragic death. She died the best way any goat could. Of old age, in her sleep, in a barn that she spent the majority of her life teaching me, giving me memories, and laying the groundwork for every goat that ever came in the barn after her. She's one of the few goats that we've ever found that just really looked like she went to sleep. And that's all I've ever wanted for her. Sometimes when they get old, they drag on, and then you have to make a decision. How much you can put into the goat, how much that goat still wants to live. And sometimes you have to take the responsibility of giving mercy. And she didn't make me go through that. She gave me mercy by not making me have to do that for her later down the road. So I'm happy that this is the way that she went, but it's just hard knowing that my teacher's gone. And I'm thankful that she taught me what she taught me, and that she taught me with such patience and affection. When God love her, she was big enough and horned and could do all the things to hurt me, and she never did. She never did. She was such a good mom. She was such a good teacher. She was such a good herd queen. And my barn feels a little less happy tonight, but life is cyclical, and for every loss there's a win, and for every win there's a loss. We have to have balance, and this is balance. I just think it's funny that Squeakers is the one that's in here. She's stealing the corn fodder that I haven't showed you guys about yet, but you guys know Squeaker was one that basically found her lifeless. She was more dead than she was alive, and I felt so thankful to steal her back from death. And life and death coincide. One does not exist without the other. So balance. And so sometimes balance just feels really violent on the soul and on the heart. And I'm just really glad that she got to be here and that she wasn't moved around. She would die with a full belly, knowing she was loved and warm and safe. And there are a lot of other livestock out there that don't get to leave the world in quite the fashion that Dilly did. And God, we've loved her so much. Loved her so much, and really gonna miss her. I know, it's okay. It's all right. It's all right, Brat. It's all right, Squeaky.